Well, everyone, just a little while after installing iOS 27 Developer Beta 1 on my iPhone 17 Pro, I just installed it on my M4 iPad Pro as well. So I want to talk about iPadOS 27 Developer Beta 1 because some of the features that actually failed on the iOS side are working perfectly well on the iPadOS side. And there's a little bit of nuance in there as well that I want to show off. So without further ado, let's talk all things iPadOS 27 Developer Beta 1. Let me know in the comment down below what you thought of Apple's keynote in general, and if you thought it was a success, and if you have gotten access to the new version of Apple Intelligence, or Siri AI as Apple's calling it. But let's get right into it. Well, alright everyone, let's get right into this, and we are using my M4 iPad Pro like I mentioned, so I do want to show off the actual build size. We're looking at about 13.6 gigs. I took a screenshot of it. If I could just X out of here, we'll zoom in. So give yourself, 25 to 30 gigs of open storage in order to get this installed and installed correctly. And just like on iOS, we actually go into our settings. I applied for the new Siri, and unfortunately, we're still on the wait list. So comment down below if you guys have applied for it, if you've been able to get to the new Siri and what that looks like. We're definitely gonna have some content around that after the fact, so stay tuned for that. But for now, there are some other things that I wanted to bring up that were kind of quote-unquote failures on the iOS side for the iOS video. So let's jump right into the Photos application. The first one's going to be this one right here. So again, we got the new tools in iOS and in iPadOS. So we have this image that I took, as you guys can see. We'll press the little toolbar here, and you can see that we do have the tools on the left-hand side here. So I wanted to show off a couple of them. So you have your cleanup, extend, and reframe. Cleanup is pretty self-explanatory. It's just, again, it's going to clean up a little bit better than it did before, but I want to show off the extend feature. So if we press on the extend feature, the idea here is to, again, extend what's in the frame. So I can zoom out. Let's see how far I can zoom out. That's as far as it goes. So you can see that the inner portion, the part that's actually visible, is the original photo, and then the blurred version is what it's about to extend. So you can see that it's doing its little aura thing, figuring itself out. We have the little loading page on the bottom, so it says this can take a moment. Depends on which device you're using, how fast it's gonna go. This is the M4 iPad Pro, it's 16 gigs of RAM, and this one's technically the quote-unquote worst iPad that you can get that gets the most out of the on-device intelligence that you can get from Siri AI. But all that stuff is happening on-device and in the background, so there you go. It does load it up. Now, of course, it took some liberties here, which is funny, right? You have this like person thing here that, of course, does not exist. You can see there's nothing back there in my image, but it also extended my shirt, it extended my display. It took some liberties to show off exactly what the desk looks like, but if you tap on here, you get to see the original image and then the extended image. Of course, you can zoom in if you want to kind of get a little bit more clarity, but overall, it does a decent job, right? So that's going to be the new extend feature. And now for the reframe feature, if we take this one, press on this right here, we'll go into the tools section, go to the reframe, it's gonna load it up for me. I love this because it kind of brings to life what the spatial photos are from Vision OS, which I absolutely love. So here I can kind of turn it whichever way I want. I can turn it this way, I can turn it this way. So let's turn it this way to kind of get a little bit of the background. We'll reframe it. It's gonna take a second to really figure itself out here because I'm sure it's kind of guessing at a lot of different things. But it should give us a decent overlap on what's going to happen with this new tool. So it's going to reframe and give it a second. So again, there was an error. It's not working. So again, both on iPadOS and iOS, this has not been working well. So the more you know, again, we're in Developer Beta 1, so that is something to consider. The next thing I want to show off is in the shortcuts. So we did get a whole new shortcuts kind of situation when it comes to natural language. Now, I know that a lot of people, they either use shortcuts or they don't. Some people are intimidated by it. I'm one of those people that was very intimidated by the shortcuts application because there's a lot to kind of learn when it comes to it. It's essentially coding, but with a different UI. So if we go back into the shortcuts application, you can now use natural language to describe what you want to do. So if I press this plus sign right here, you can just describe it. And I love this new UI. It says, what do you want your shortcut to do? I wanted it to say, send a text to my wife every day at 2 p.m. that says so that's what my prompt is going to be in natural language. It says send a text to my wife every day at 2 p.m. that says I love you. So we'll give it a second. It's loading up. It's loading up the animations. Now they couldn't find somebody with the category of my wife in my contacts because I have her saved as something else. So you do have to go in here and add it yourself. And once that's added in, we'll press done. It's going to start to generate that shortcut for me, and this is very, very cool. So boom, it's ready to go. And if you want to see, I guess, the quote-unquote code, which is going to be how you would create it from scratch manually in the Shortcuts app, you can do that by pressing that little button, and then you can see exactly what's going on here. So this is an amazing tool, and just imagine how much more kind of complicated and useful you can get with the shortcuts application talking in natural language, I think it's going to be fantastic. Another interesting one is going to be in the settings. Now, this isn't specific to iPadOS. You can do this on iOS as well, but it's in your sound and haptics, or just sounds on your iPad. So for years, you've had one master control level for your ringtone, no matter the type of ringtone it is, whether it is a ringtone, an alarm, or an alert, you have the same slider right here. But now you can actually uncheck these tabs right here, and you have individual controls based on the category of sound that's coming out of your iPad or your iOS device. Again, a small addition, but fantastic, because again, you want your alarms and timers to be loud probably. Your ringtone maybe not as loud. Your alerts and systems, you probably want that loud as well, so you are alerted when you have some system volume and things like that, but at least now you can customize it to however you see fit, which is fantastic. And of course you get some of those UI elements as well. So for instance, if we go into our appearance, you can go into your liquid glass and then get an idea of what it looks like by changing the opacity of liquid glassiness. So that's always a welcome addition. And then you can see that when we do go over here, first off, you can see that the battery indicator is actually a little bit different. It's more rounded off, more playful. But if we go, again, let's go back into our settings. Let's go into Control Center. Let's go into Windowed Mode On. And if you make this smaller, you can see that now we do have a different kind of UI outlook. The corner radii is a little bit easier to view. The toolbar is all the way to the left-hand side instead of kind of floating over the UI. So some smaller UI elements and changes that have happened. And then another new one is going to be in Safari. So Safari will now begin to slowly organize and consolidate all the tabs based on category or tab type. And a good example here is that we have 9 to 5 Mac. You see there's a little drop-down menu. You have 2 different ones. You can press plus to organize it if I want to. So now they're separated. Very cool to see how this is kind of all functioning and working out. I love the UI elements, and this is a welcome addition, like I said again, to keep everything more organized. Again, the tabs look a little bit different as well. The sidebar looks a little bit different. If you go over here, there's any new options here. Everything kind of remains the same when it comes to multitasking, but overall, a welcome update to Safari as well. So iPadOS is getting everything iOS got, but it just seems to be working a little bit better on iPadOS. Let's finish up the video. So as you guys saw, it's been already about 3 hours and we still do not have access to the new Siri AI. Stay tuned, get subscribed, because once we do get it in hand, I'll be messing around with it in a bunch of different capacities on my iPhone, my iPad. Maybe eventually I'll install it on my Mac. We'll see how that goes. But overall, the stability on iPadOS 27 Developer Beta 1 has been better on the iPad than it has been on my iPhone, but the more you know. And like I said, I do have the M4 iPad Pro, which is I believe the worst or the oldest iPad Pro that can be used to get the most powerful on-device AI support. So again, to each their own. Let me know if you guys installed the first beta, what you guys think about it. If you haven't installed it, what's your hesitation? Again, install your own risk, because a lot of things can happen with a major OS update, especially with Developer Beta 1. Maybe hold off until the public version back in July. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys made it to the end, leave a little dolphin. And if you guys want to watch the iOS version of this, click on this one. Or if you want to see the WWDC recap, click on this video. Peace, everybody.